On this episode of the Virtual Press Box, me and Nick are joined by Drake Ruling as we talk the MLB trade deadline. Of course, we wrap up the week of sports, that what it was. And at the end, our Gimme 5 is 5 of the biggest moves or non-moves of the trade deadline. But now, everybody, let's get into the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Virtual Press Box. I'm your host, Ricky Ramos. I'm joined by Nick Berry and Drake Rolling this week. And guys, this trade deadline was something for sure.
Yeah, it was, look, going into it, the Cubs had made no moves, going into late in the day on the last day. Cubs still hadn't made any moves. I'm at work, refreshing ESPN constantly, are they going to do something? And then finally, the logjam broke, and they just started making move after move after move. And, hey, we'll see. But thankfully, for the first time, and I don't know how long, the Cubs seem to be all in. So, little happier.
Some of us got better, some of us didn't.
I know, you and I talked in the pre-show, though, Drake. Some of that could be that Atlanta thought, hey, we've gotten to this point where we're the second best team in the National League. We don't really need to make a lot of moves. We don't need to shake things up as much. But yes, you had to be, as a fan, sitting there going, hey.
Yeah, definitely. I just, when it ended, I just got mad and took a nap, so.
Weren't you like this with the Braves last year as well?
What do you mean?
Where they didn't do anything at the deadline big like this?
Yeah, yeah.
No, but the difference last year, though,
under 500.
They were having a terrible season. But actually, maybe you can look at it as you can kind of commend the Braves, because last year they didn't sell off the team. They kept it pretty much together. This year you built on it. Now you're sitting, like I said, one of the best teams in the National League, if the second best team in the National League.
7-game winning streak. One of the hottest teams in the MLB right now. So,
it's just a bit weird. Just how some teams stay put. Obviously, we'll get to that heavily in a few minutes whenever we talk about the deadline. We're going to talk about how the Mets just basically got rid of expirings, and most of it is all pitching. Freddie Peralta, Huascar Brazoban, which he's under control, I think, for another 3 years, but he's 36 now. Luke Weaver, who's under control for next season. I was kind of hoping we kept Weaver. Brooks Raley and AJ Minter both, so there goes both of our lefty arms, and those are two of the best lefty arms on the market. Other than that, that's all that went. I don't think any bats went. It's just been constant recycling of just extra guys with service time that are on the 40-man roster, so they could pitch an inning or two, and then, the constant DFA cycle. But we'll get into it later for sure. But
before we get too much into sports, though, I mean, how have you been? What was your last week been? What the hell have you been up to? What's Drake been up to? It's been a while since he's been on.
Yeah. For people that might not know, I have another brother in the family. Adonis Lynn Ramos. He's awesome. He really is. I saw him twice in the past few days. I saw him last night. He's great. He slept most of the time, so that's good. He didn't have to stay in the hospital any longer than he had to. No high jaundice levels, none of that. He was born on Friday, came home Sunday. So.
I mean, also congratulations too. Obviously, congratulations on that. That's awesome. That is very awesome. But also kind of a secondhand thing to that. I mean, congratulations, your dad making, Guinness Book of World Records, first 75-year-old man to have his 9th kid or something like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's Yeah, Dad's 51 now, and when he called me when he was 50, he was like, he called me back in December. He goes, "Hey, your stepmother's pregnant. We're gonna have a kid." I was like, "Dad, you're gonna be 51."
Let me just tell you, and this is all in all seriousness. It takes somebody with a pretty special personality and attitude to take on that at 50 or at an older age. I mean, I'm 48 and having two grandsons. I could not imagine having a baby right now. It's fun to have them for a night and they spend the night and we have them for the next day. But man, by the time they go home, like we are wiped out. I could not imagine like, nope, you signed up for this every day.
Nick Cannon, who?
Yeah.
Nick Cannon.
Yeah, it's just weird because now there's 3 Ramos boys. It was 2.
Right.
It was literally my dad had my sister Maya, and then 2 boys back to back, and the rest were girls. Like even with my mom and her boyfriend. But whenever Dad called me and my oldest sister, we had the same reaction. Like, "Dad, you're 50. What are you doing here?"
Like he does know how this happens, right? He knows what causes it.
Yes,
right?
he obviously. He told me I didn't know it could happen. I thought your stepmother couldn't have any more kids. I was like, okay, sweet. Obviously, it happened, but it's fine. We just gave him a hard time and stuff like that. It's gonna be weird having a sibling that there's almost a 27-year age difference in. Because I turn 27 in October. I don't know, but it's fine. Yeah, it's great. There's just hopefully he takes on to sports. My brother didn't. Xavier didn't at all. He literally hates sports with a passion. He just does not watch sports. But,
which is so weird.
It is. Like you see, I'm huge into sports. My dad's huge into sports. Some might say I'm more into sports than my own dad, but whatever. Drake, how have you been?
Yeah, pretty great. I just finished up finals at UF, so I got an internship coming up in 2 weeks. So well on the way to graduation in December. Nice. So very excited for that.
Yeah,
very nice, very nice.
That's what I was going to ask next. So you graduate in December, okay?
Yep. So
nice.
Yeah, finally, I'm 24 and finally done with schoolwork forever. So
now it's just internships where you do a lot of bitch work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, hats off to you, Drake. Hats off to you. Not many people can actually go to a SEC school and actually do work.
Mm-hmm. And the best SEC school.
Most athletes don't even go to Florida and do any work. They just go. So
no. They just get told, "Hey, here's your 4.0." Okay, cool. That has to be a thing, honestly. I see all these sports athletes like, "Oh, I graduated with a 3.9 or a 4.0." I'm like, did you do any work? Like, that has to be a deal with like, okay, we're paying like $45 million for this whole team. Teachers, you can, shoehorn in a 4.0 and that they're in class every single day. Like,
well, what's funny is a lot of the athletes get a bad rap because of that. I mean, there are plenty of guys that can barely spell their own name and are getting degrees, but there are guys who legitimately want. That education.
Hats off to the guys that actually want something, to get a degree for their post-sports career.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's half and half. Yeah, I think it's split down the middle.
Yeah, like Carson Beck when he got asked, how's the school life been? He goes, I haven't been to school in like 2 years.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Hats off to him for not lying.
Honestly, and then Joe Burrow said in an interview, I think it was a Dan Patrick for somebody a few years ago, whenever he transferred to LSU for that 1 year, and they were like, "So how was school there?" He goes, "Oh, I already got all my credits at Ohio State. I was just here playing football."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. The college football system, college sports system. There's so much wrong with it, but whatever.
Just think of this.
There was a running back for us last year who graduated from Florida and is transferring. I can't remember where he went, but similar. Already graduated, got the cap and gown, take pictures, graduation pictures, and now he's going to another school. So
that just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that tight end for Miami that was there for like 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Essentially, just turn collegiate football and basketball, for that matter, into minor leagues for the pros.
Let's
You're
not
already
do
paying
that.
them.
Let's not do that because that's what the MLB owners want.
Oh well.
That's what the MLB owners want. They're wanting college, minor league, majors.
Right. See, the problem is Major League Baseball. That makes no sense because they already have the deepest minor league system in any of the pro sports.
Yeah,
I guess other than maybe the NHL. The NHL has there's hockey leagues all over the world that feed the NHL, but the NBA has the G League now.
Yes, the G League, which they tried to do the G League Ignite where you could skip going to college, and that already shut down.
Yeah.
It's specifically, okay, you're going to college.
The one exception to all those, to me, is the NFL, because I don't know if you want to be a 17, 18-year-old kid trying to play in the NFL. Like,
no.
Look at the transformation some of these guys take from the time they start college to the time they finish, what their bodies look like differently, how much they've bulked up, they've muscled up because they get into the training program and the diet program. You walk off your high school into even, I don't care if it's the worst football team. Say you walk on to the Arizona Cardinals practice facility, you are going to get your ass handed to you.
Yes, 1,000%. But before we move on, I do want to say I saw Spider-Man Brand New Day Friday.
Okay.
Oh my God. There's a reason why this movie is the biggest box office opening. There's a reason. I
can't wait to see it. I'm excited about seeing it. Mostly because the character, how they've done it as well. It has my favorite version of the Marvel character Punisher in it. And it's supposed to...
I always wear a Spider-Man shirt at home. Now.
Okay.
Conveniently, I do. It's either a Spider-Man shirt, a Fantastic Four shirt, or a Met shirt. Never in between. So I guess I'm always just showing New York pride all the time.
I'm glad you had a good time while seeing Spider-Man, Ricky. I know of someone who didn't have a good time seeing Spider-Man. Was traded, actually, during the movie.
Oh, that's right. Adley Rutschman. He was on his way to see Spider-Man, and he got the news he got traded.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll cover that in a minute. Nick, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think it's time to hear about our favorite sponsor before we get into the bulk of the show. So, that's right. The Virtual Press Box has partnered with W Energy and their patented jitter-free formula that makes them the next generation of energy drink. So head on over to wenergy.com, and when you get to checkout, after you picked one of their amazing flavors, make sure to use our coupon VPB2023. That's VPB2023, and get yourself 10% off on us. Now, let's get this show started. So we have a lot of stuff going on here at the Virtual Press Box. The next few weeks, after it's been about a month and a half now of kind of a little bit lower volume, we've had the freedom to be more creative with how the shows were filled. More of the what if kind of thing, the resurrecting minor league teams, the minor league draft. We did a lot more video game, which is a very cool episode, but just stuff that was not your normal show that we've been doing. But now we're starting to swing back into where every week is going to have a kind of a theme to it. So
over the next few weeks, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff from the Virtual Press Box you can expect. Next week, you can expect some football talk at least, because the Hall of Fame game is Thursday, and then that's going to lead into the short window of preseason games, which I still think is way too short for players to not even play and then ramp up into NFL game time.
I think if you're going to cut the preseason 3 games, you should have 2 buys.
Yes, I totally agree. We are going to have a NFC preview episode. We're going to have a AFC preview episode. We're going to have a college football preview episode hosted by Drake and Nick, yours truly over here. Not me. I don't really want to call it. And then we are going to have a fantasy football episode coming soon. I'm really intrigued on how that one's going to be. And then I think in 2 weeks, me, Griffin, and Drew will be doing a mega redraft of the NBA 1998 and 1999 drafts combined to give us a 10-man rotation.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you guys sticking to the same draft order from 98, 99, just going in a continuous
So
rotation?
not essentially like that. We're drafting as if we're building our own teams.
So essentially a fantasy draft using only those draft picks.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then next week, there's a chance where I'm not on. There's a chance that Drake's not on. We won't know any details on that yet. We just got on. There's a chance that me and Drake will be in Atlanta then. But if not, yours truly and Nick will be here.
So yeah, Braves Mets live in person. That's not a bad way to spend a weekend or a weekday, I should say.
Not at all.
There's some pretty big things going on. Even here in Middle Tennessee, I know we haven't talked about it a lot this season, but the Nashville Cats quietly are in the AF1 championship game hosting it this weekend.
So how they do it is that the number 1 seed, they get every home game.
Yeah.
And the playoff runs through you.
Yeah, F&M Bank Stadium in Clarksville will host the Arena Championship. It's Albany Firebirds and
Albany Firebirds and the Arena Cat and the Nashville Cats, which I think that is 2 of the only no names from the original Arena Football League that's in the AL.
So very cool. A long way away from the bus terminal that was next to Municipal a couple seasons ago when they came back.
Was something. It was still a great experience.
The Minnesota Stadium was absolutely amazing. It was a great. The game was fantastic. The atmosphere inside was fantastic. You just had to step over a few homeless people to get there. That's all.
Yeah, 1,000%. And they had their own here's our return party in the grain station.
Kids eating hot dogs at a block party, and here's somebody shooting up over 10 feet away.
It smells only like marijuana from the bus stop, and there's nothing but homeless guys. And I remember walking up the steps, and there was a homeless guy just sleeping to the left of it. And I'm looking at Nick, I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey, but look at it this way: the Nashville Cats could be the first professional team in the state of Tennessee to hoist a championship trophy. Titans have not done it. Predators have not done it. The Grizzlies sure as hell haven't done it.
Crazy to think about.
You're skipping over the Nashville Soccer Club.
MLS has not hosted a trophy.
They hoisted a tournament trophy. That's a pretty big deal last year.
They didn't win the MLS Cup, though.
I'm just saying, it's a big deal. They give out rings and everything for it. So
the Predators also hang a banner for going to the Stanley Cup. So you can't really.
The fucking Colts have a banner up there just appearing in the AFC Championship game.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Don't come at me whenever I can just come right back at you with this shit. Come on.
But I'm just saying. So hey, good luck to the Cats this weekend. It'd be an awesome story if they did win the trophy. That would be pretty cool.
Yes.
So
that league, I think 2 teams only went to this season.
Yeah. So. But the basic gist of this segment though is to let everybody know there's a lot of content coming from the virtual press box. And the cool thing about it is it's not going to be just you and I talking every week. We're going to have Drake as part of it. Griffin is part of it. Drew is part of it. We'll probably have Daniel on, especially with the fantasy part of it. So a lot of these guys that have been making appearances in the past, we're going to see them multiple times over the next few weeks.
Yes. Also, from you two, Drake, Nick, you guys have your own previews of the college football divisions coming out soon.
Yes, we do. Something that you actually proposed to us, and I know I'm so excited about it. I know Drake's excited about it. Both of us fans of the blue and orange, different shades, obviously, of the blue and orange, but me being an Illini fan, him being a Gator, interesting perspectives, SEC versus Big Ten, to see how we view the top 25 week after week. I think it'll be pretty cool.
Non-bias, promise.
Yeah. Especially with the cupcake schedules that they have in the SEC, obviously, I'm going to have to weight that differently. So,
yeah, because if Rutgers ends up being undefeated until their Michigan game on Halloween, there could be a chance you see them outside looking in top 25. That's just me. Whatever.
And I could say it wouldn't be strategic for me to pump up a team that Illinois is playing. So rank them super high, and then when Illinois beats them, be like, "I'll see." Told you East Carolina was going to be a top 10 team.
Yeah.
So, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of new things to kind of focus on going forward. I know obviously NFL is going to dominate a lot of that, but hey, let's not forget, NBA is not too far away. NHL is not too far away. A lot of content coming up that, and the cool thing about, as you watch, if you follow the virtual press box from the very beginning till now, year after year, we've kind of broadened our horizons as far as stuff that we were covering. Obviously, the NHL being one of the big pieces to that, the arena football at times, but minor league baseball especially. So just kind of exciting to see where the virtual press box is going, and the next few weeks will kind of be a pretty good snapshot of that.
Yes, it's just great. Virtual press box is my love language for sport. Love language to sports. It's my passion for sports. It's just amazing. I know Drake. I've known Drake for a while, Nick for a while. So I think I've known you guys for the same amount of time, just different periods of my life. Because Drake, I went to school with, and Nick, I met through wrestling and stuff like that. So it's just cool for everything like this to come full circle with two of the bigger sports fans I've known in my life. But with that being said, we have some trade deadline stuff to talk. So cue up the horn.
That's right. We had to come to an agreement. He didn't like listening to Chelsea Dagger. I couldn't stand listening to whatever that Tim McGraw bullcrap was. And
if you could imagine it, everybody listening and watching, it's kind of like a Mega Powers handshake that me and Nick had to agree upon here.
Yeah, so we compromised on, let's keep a hockey horn involved in the transition. Let's get rid of our bias. There's no Predators. There's no Blackhawks. There's just love of hockey. And this is what we came up with. So, but like you said, it's time for MLB trade deadline. And yeah, it started way before the deadline. Some big moves kind of started happening a little bit at a time. And then, bam, that final day, it was no holds barred, to keep with the wrestling metaphors. So
we can. I just want to kick this off with the biggest trade. Drake Skubal going to the Dodgers. The Dodgers essentially give up nothing. They don't give. I think the biggest player they give up is a player in their top five. Zahir Hope. Drake River Ryan is older than me. And he's still a ranked prospect.
I've seen that.
Brady Smith, whatever. But here's my thought of this. Scott Boras knows a lot about baseball, and he knows the ins and outs of the impending lockout. You would say, because apparently, from what I read, whenever the lockout happened last time, Scott Boras was like the biggest arguer with the MLBPA. Because I think if you're on MLBPA, you're a big enough star that Boras is your agent. So if Drake Skubal gets sent to the Dodgers for nickels on the dollar, nickels on a $10 bill, just for the remainder of the season, from August until the end of October, maybe beginning of November if they make it that far. I think that shows you that we will have a lockout. And it's not going to be a beautiful lockout. It's not going to be a nice one. Yeah. It's going to be a pretty brutal lockout. The players are going to get locked out. It's going to be the owners locking them. And I think that there's going to be a good chance we're going to be missing baseball. I hate that. I hate that for sure. That, weirdly enough, though, that doesn't affect minor league baseball. Minor league baseball will still be played because there's a minor league baseball players association. There's a major league player association. And then, there's also an umpire association, whatever. But minor league baseball will still be organized. I don't know how the anything of that's going to work out. But with Drake Skubal going to the Dodgers, I don't think he's going to re-sign. Or he might re-sign, but it's going to be a filthy contract. But a contract won't be signed during the season. Because one thing that Lewis doesn't like is his players re-signing whenever they could just go to free agency and go to the highest bidder.
Right. So, real quick, since you brought it up, and you guys are both huge baseball fans, the last lockout strike, whatever you want to call it, baseball burned a lot of bridges, and it took a lot to get it back.
The last lockout was 2021.
So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the last big work stoppage.
Oh,
where baseball
90, what, 92? 94. Okay, yeah. 94.
Where baseball literally burned to the ground. And their fan base was gone. They were at the time, and this pains me to say, they were fighting with the NHL for fans. They were behind the NBA, way behind the NFL.
Yeah.
They have done such a great job.
The NBA.
They've done such a great job of building that back up.
Yeah. So, whenever I listened to Tom Seaver's book, he was one of the bigger player association representatives for all those years. There was a few different lockouts, and what happened with all those lockouts is that the players wanted more money. Yeah. And of course, if you look at the wages then to what the wages are now, of course they're going to get more money. Like Tom Seaver, like he had to fight and claw for a contract that's like $500,000 from the Mets. So the players, unfortunately, always get the connotation of that they're just greedy. They want more money. Well, it's also like you have these cheap owners. You have the Reds. You have the Pirates. Like, for instance, one of the Pirates' big signings of the offseason, Marcell Ozuna, got released today. He got cut.
Well, I guess more like, so Drake, for example, do you think Major League Baseball at like this time right now, we know in general people have a shorter attention span. Like there's so much stuff, there's so many options, so many things going on, so many things that you can fill your time with. How does this affect Major League Baseball? I mean, like you're running a risk here of you work stoppage, taking the product off the field. People are going to move on.
So, yeah, definitely a loss of viewership. I mean, it really sucks. I think it puts a whole lot more pressure on teams to win now. So again, that kind of some of these teams who really didn't do as much as they should have at the deadline. So thinking, well, we could be, we might not be seeing baseball for a while, so we need to go all out. But I remember the last one, man, it sucks because like we only had like 2 weeks or a few weeks before the season started before we could actually talk to these players and negotiate. So it's a real bad thing overall.
That's whenever Max Scherzer went to the Mets. Like it was the lockout's over. Now we need to scramble.
Yeah.
And then they had like a 6-week spring training. No, I don't think it goes 6 weeks because like pitchers were stretching out faster and faster. Like there was a game in the spring training where Scherzer went 5 innings and DeGrom went 4, like right after him, just so they could get the innings in. And then that season went into the first week of October.
Well, and to kind of bring it back on track, talking about the trade deadline, just remind me, Tariq Skubal, obviously probably the biggest trade that occurred, or the most impactful trade you could say, I guess. What's his record since the trade deadline?
0-1.
0-1. Okay. I mean, it's funny. All that talk, and he now granted it wasn't his fault. He pitched a pretty good game. Only gave up. I think it was may have only been 1 run.
I believe it was 2 through 6.
2, okay,
2 runs through 6.
But still, 2 runs, and I think it was like 6 and a third inning. I mean, like he pitched a pretty good game. It wasn't by any stretch. It wasn't a Freddie Peralta first outing.
Yeah, I want to get into that. I want to get into Freddie Peralta. I want to talk.
I will say though, poor guy. His first start with his new team was in Colorado.
Yeah,
Freddie Peralta's first start.
Yeah, it was in Colorado.
The Rays set him up for failure. They set him up for failure. A guy that's struggling all year, that has a 4.91 ERA when he's traded. You give up 3 prospects in your top 30. I mean, that's not expensive, but at the same time, like, that's not cheap.
Well, it's different. If you would have given that up for Screwball, that would have been like, okay, hey, this guy's, on top of his game. Like you said, Peralta struggled all season long. Like, he has not been anywhere close to good.
Freddie Peralta had more games and he let up 4 runs than he did games going longer than 5 innings. Like
for people who don't understand how bad Peralta's been, you, a diehard Mets fan, was happier to give him up than you were to get prospects for him.
Yes. You want to know something even funnier? A week and a half before he got traded, Freddie Peralta bobblehead night. In September, Freddie Peralta jersey giveaway. So there's going to be 15,000 children in Africa that are going to be getting this Freddie Peralta jersey. And they'll be like, holy shit, Freddie Peralta must be pretty good if he's getting a fucking jersey giveaway.
Well, funny enough, I said that the Rays were going to trade for Skubal.
Yeah,
remember, that's what I said. And yeah, they probably gave up more for Freddie Peralta than what the Dodgers did for Skubal, which is funny.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would have thought the Tiger, if you're a Tigers fan, you got to be going, hey, we could have got a better haul from any other team.
Do you want to know who the Brewers were offering? They were offering Jesus Meade, the number one prospect in all of baseball, just to give up Skubal as a rental.
Right.
Plus 2 other Brewers prospects. The Brewers system is the best in baseball. I don't care what anybody says about the Dodgers system. No, Nick, don't even give me that shit. I don't care what anybody says about the Dodgers system. Oh, they have 9 prospects in the top 100. No, bullshit. You see those prospects playing the majors, they're going to be awful. We've seen it with Bobby Miller. We see it with all these guys. Drake remembers how good Bobby Miller was in MLB The Show 2022. That shit was egregious in Diamond Dynasty. But anyways, the Brewers, honestly, I think they have pound for pound one of the better farm systems. You've seen it for years where they just keep on pumping these guys in and out. And one guy I hated who didn't like seeing the Brewers trade because I cheered for him as a Sounds fan was Craig Yoho. He went to the Cleveland Guardians. And now the Guardians have a phenomenal bullpen. They always keep on having a good bullpen. So Craig Yoho, with I think 6 years of control, 5 years of control, is going to be elite in Cleveland, I will say.
Well, elite in Cleveland is that's kind of an oxymoron. So, but no, I mean, I get what you're saying, and we've talked about some of the big names. Obviously, we haven't got to some of the other ones that, like, you talked about. You guys hinted with Adley Rutschman finding out that he is no longer an Oriole, which may not be a bad thing necessarily.
No.
You're going to
gave up. The Red Sox gave up way too much, I thought.
Especially because you get Rutschman the rest of this year, then next year, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And Rutschman is not the healthiest of players. I will say this till the day I die. I never was impressed with Adley Rutschman. Let's see. Last year, Adley Rutschman was hurt a lot. He played 90 games last year, and he batted .220 with 9 home runs. And then 2024, he played 148 with 19 homers and batted .250. That's I even want to look at that. I'm like, that's not impressive.
So, part of this, there's a lot of trades going on, but part of this is the moves that happen after the trades have gone through. You have to roster moves, guys sent down, guys DFA'd, Drake, there's a chance you can bring a World Series hero back home. He was released.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
Or Ozuna from
Jorge
the
Soler.
Or Ozuna is a free agent now. You can bring Ozuna back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I can't say I see anything wrong with it. Might as well sign him.
I'm just saying.
Minor league deal.
Soler's World Series homer, I don't think it's still landed yet. So.
Oh yeah, it has.
Between the Jorge Soler home run against the Astros and the Albert Pujols home run against the Astros in, I think, the 2005 playoffs, those are 2 of the biggest home runs I've ever seen in the playoffs. That looks like they never landed. But
that Soler home run, I knew it was gone. Like, as soon before he even hit it, it was hanger. I knew it was gone. I don't even think I watched it. I was already celebrating before he hit it. Like, I was like, 3-0, we're up.
So trades that I didn't like to see was especially Luis Arraez going to Philadelphia. Even though it's for the rest of the season, Luis Arraez, 1-year deal. But I didn't like seeing him go to Philadelphia because Luis Arraez is a really good hitter. and Luis Arraez bats over 300. Unfortunately, this is I think it's the fourth team in the last 5 years for Luis Arraez.
Yeah.
Why? He gets on base. Nick, whenever you're building a team, you want players that what?
Get on base.
That get on base.
To get on base, you get a chance to score. Can't score if you don't get on base. Unless you're guaranteed to hit a home run every time, you want guys that get on base.
Exactly. You want guys that get on base. I don't want to be like Billy Beane in Moneyball, but I will be Billy Beane in Moneyball because getting on base is the biggest factor to win a baseball game. Unless you have
it's the hockey equivalent of you have to shoot the puck at the net. If you don't put the puck on the net, you can't score. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you have to get on base.
Yeah. Like if you don't have a quarterback that isn't confident of making a 10-yard pass, you're not winning. Sorry, you're not winning. But just the fact that Luis Arraez is going to Philadelphia, I don't like that. Would he stay? I don't know. But I will say this. A 34-year-old Bryce Harper who hasn't played the outfield since 2022. Or since he moved to first base.
Since he had Tommy John surgery, he's played first base. He has not played the outfield. So not only does he now have to get used to shagging balls in the outfield, he's got to make those throws from the outfield with an arm that has not been tested like that in 3-4 years.
3-4, yeah. Ever since he was in the World Series against the Astros. And I know me and Drake, we hate that man. We hate watch anytime he's on the bat. Nick, I don't know about you because we haven't had to have him in new division since he was 19 years old. Bryce Harper going to the outfield is exactly what I want to see. First off, that team is aging fast, aging quickly. Trey Turner, not playing good. That 11-year deal, aging like a villain. Kyle Schwarber, you can't trust him in the field. You only have him back. No. He's aging. He only got that contract because the catching market is so bad. You look at that deal that you have for Aaron Nola, my God, that's going to be awful. It's awful now.
The thing that worries me about bringing Arraez to Philadelphia is, yes, he's a good get for the short term. But like you said, you're not just moving Harper to the outfield. You're rearranging your whole infield, essentially.
Yes, Alec Bohm. He was fighting a second.
It's Bohm's going to Bohm will be at first. Stott's going to be third.
Okay.
And you already have Trey Turner at short, who has the second most errors, like right behind Abrams.
The guy who has the guy who's literally can't feel the ground ball right now is the only one who's not moving.
Yeah.
Like, hell, put him in right field for right now.
Mm-hmm.
He has the speed. He came up in the majors as a center fielder.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, I do want to talk about the Padres. Now, the Padres have been a big subject. Because not only before the deadline, 22 of their top 30 were in Double-A or lower. They make some egregious trades here that I wouldn't have made. They trade for Robbie Ray. They trade Miguel Mendez and Johnny L. Hernandez. Those are two of their top 9 that they traded off, number 4 and number 9. And then they trade for Mize from the Tigers. After the Tigers were like, we're not going to trade him. And the Padres, I think around the last minute, offered him the deal. I'm trying to find the deal. They offered him Cash Mayfield and Jackson Wolf.
While we were waiting for you to join, Drake and I were going through some of the pre-show stuff. That's one of the things we talked about. Like, who the hell thought the Padres were going to be buyers?
As long as you have AJ Preller at the helm, you're going to be buyers. Because I sent this to Drake. I didn't send it to you, Nick. You want a list of notable players traded away by AJ Preller since AJ Preller came into the helm? There is a whole lot here. There's Josh Naylor. There's Yonder Alonso. Xavier Edwards. Ty France. CJ Abrams. Trey Turner. Leo DeVries. Owen Casey. Trent Grisham. Miguel Margot. Jacob Marcy. Hunter Renfroe. Juan Soto. DJ Upton. James Woods. Brent Rooker.
Essentially
Max
a starting
Fried,
line.
Robert Gasser, Mackenzie Gore, Robbie Snelling, Ryan Weathers, Brad
It's a
Hand,
playoff team.
Andrew Pomerantz, Colin Ray, Cal Contrell, Corey Kluber, James Shields, Houston Street, Emilio Pagan, Craig Kimbrell, like David Bednar. This team, those guys, Victor Caratini, Yasmani Grandal, Austin Hedges,
Former Cubs
Luis
ace.
Torrens. What?
Former Cubs ace Victor Caratini.
Okay, yeah, that's why we still put up a run on him in the ninth inning.
I'm just saying, but like Drake just said a second ago, essentially he traded off a playoff team.
Yeah, Will Venable's on this list. Adam Frazier.
What in the hell?
What are they doing?
But this team were buyers at the trade deadline. They're 10 games out of first place in their division. They're only 4 games over 500. Like what? I don't understand. Like what makes him think they're just a couple moves away from turning it on? Like
I have no idea. They called up Ethan Salas to AAA. That's the number one prospect, but I've heard of Ethan Salas' name ever since they signed him. They have, so that's 2. 3 players in their top 30 are in AAA now, because after the deadline is when players get bumped up.
Okay.
So 3 of 30 are in AAA. That's not a recipe for success. The money you're giving Darvish, the money you're giving Cronenworth, the money you're giving Tatis Jr., Machado, all those guys. This team, look, the window closed 2 years ago whenever they had the Dodgers down 2-0 and they lose the rest of the series.
I will say, I do have to take a step back a little bit. They are only 1 game out of the final wild card spot in the National League right now.
I know they're close, right? But being buyers to this extent's crazy. And if I'm the Padres, I'm hoping Nick Pivetta is hurt. Nick Pivetta got hurt in his last outing. He threw a pitch in the minors. He's on a rehab stint right now. Nick Pivetta threw a pitch and immediately walked to the dugout and he got hurt. If he is hurt to a certain day, they are able to use a clause in the contract to void the final $32 million for the next 2 years.
So, but like Drake, for example, we used your Braves as a reference for last year. The Padres, a game out of the wild card, they sell off some of their top prospects to kind of make this push just to get into the wild card. Let's say it doesn't work out. Let's see that they don't catch up to Arizona, or they fall back a little bit and say Pittsburgh catches them or Miami catches them for that final, or whatever. Let's say Arizona holds on to the final wild card. If you're a Padres fan going into the offseason, like you just traded away part of your future to burden your current present. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
That future has been. Go ahead, Drake. I'm sorry.
I compared them to the Dodgers, but they're like Dodgers Junior. Like they make all these like big time like deals and stuff, but none of them ever turns out to be anything.
It's the team.
Like they give these players these egregious contracts. They practically traded 2 Juan Sotos for 1 Juan Soto, and the Soto they got wasn't like the Juan Soto that we know now or Washington. So they're Dodgers Junior, but without the winning.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't. I get, like for Baltimore, for example, Baltimore built this farm system up. They're only half a game out of the wild card, but you have this young core that just wasn't clicking for whatever reason. I don't care how much talent they have. It just wasn't clicking the way it's supposed to. So you shake a couple pieces up, maybe things fall back into place and you can kind of move on. So trading Adley Rutschman isn't the end of the world. And they got a pretty okay haul for him.
I mean, they got the Red Sox number 2 ranked.
I do too. But the Red Sox, if you're the Red Sox, you're thinking, again, maybe there's going to be a lockout. Maybe there's going to be a story, whatever. We have a chance. We have a window. The American League is winnable. The Yankees are good, but they're not fantastic. I mean, the Devil Rays, who thought going into the season that the Rays were going to be leading the AL East, the AL West, we were talking about it again when we were in the pre-show, the AL West, the
It's horrible. It's awful.
They're only what 2 games over 500, and they're in first place. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
It's pretty bad in the AL West.
The
So
White
I
Sox-
want to mention that. I want to.
2 years ago, the White Sox set the record for the worst team in baseball history, and now they're 4 games up in the AL Central,
Yes.
or 4 games over 500 in the AL Central. But they're
They're buying. They traded for Luis Castillo. They're buying.
Yeah.
Who would
we
have
haven't
thought
even
that?
we haven't even talked about Luis Castillo yet. The White Sox, a team that no one, I don't care who, not even the most diehard White Sox fan had them in first place at the trade deadline. Okay, and they're out getting Castillo. I mean, like, what the hell is going on?
That's a great question. Now, I do want to say this: if you were Cincinnati, what would you have considered trading off Ellie De La Cruz? After this year, he's under control for 3 years, and his agent, it looked like his agent is going to be Scott Boras.
If I'm Cincinnati, and if I can negotiate a ridiculous haul for him, then yes. Because I say this because, as great as he is, they have so many other things to fill. If they can fill 3 spots by trading 1, I think you do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they already offered him a contract.
You have to get the right offer, obviously, but
they offered him a contract already to become the highest paid Reds player of all time, and he said no.
Yeah, no, because the highest paid Reds player of all time is
it's Joey Votto. I mean, Joey Votto's contract was nothing to sneeze at.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you have a chance to be a Yankee, a Dodger, a Red Sox, a Cub, a Brave. Listen, somebody in his position, essentially as a free agent, can name his place and name his price. At shortstop, too. I mean, there's only a handful of elite shortstops in the league. Guys that can run base, play pretty good defense. He's not an elite defense. He plays pretty good defense. And he's great at the plate. I mean, look, as much as Drake and I both love Dansby Swanson for different reasons, different times of his life, his offense, when it happens, you're like, oh, shit. Like, didn't expect that. It's great when it happens. But you want him for his glove. De La Cruz has a pretty good glove, but very good bat, and he's crazy on the bases.
Yeah, the number isn't reported for Ellie, but it would have been higher than the 10-year for $225 that Votto got on.
You asked me that question last time we were on, and I instantly said no. But
the Red Sox gave an offer, but it wasn't reported what the offer was. If I could find it, I will try to.
So, okay, well, both you guys, Drake and Ricky, would you guys give up 3 of your top 10 prospects for De La Cruz?
Where the Mets are at right now, I don't think so.
Now you have Lindor. That's a little different. You have a pretty good shortstop right now.
Yeah.
I personally would, just because we've been so awful at shortstop. I mean, since Dansby left. So, I mean, that's been a position of need, really.
I don't know. You had All-Star Ozzy
Albies. Wasn't Ozzy. It was
Arcia. Orlando Arcia.
Orlando Arcia.
No, that don't count. That don't count.
I only bring that up as a
callback. He played for us for half a year.
I only bring it up as a callback to two shows ago where we had some of the most unbelievable all-stars you could think of, and he was number 2 for me. Like,
oh yeah. Hey, Bryce Elder made the All-Star game that year too.
Oh. But yeah,
All-Star game voting needs fixed. But
I think De La Cruz could definitely, as a free agent, I think as a healthy De La Cruz especially, can name his price and name his place for the most part.
So Ellie's not going to be a free agent until 2030. That's the thing.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying. But that's why if you're the Reds, you don't want him to get to free agency.
Yeah.
So you're going to take right now where he's his hottest. He hasn't been hurt. He hasn't had any, anything. You strike now before something. Like if you wait, let's say, what's the Brian Burns effect? You're the Panthers. You could have got multiple first round picks maybe for Brian Burns. And you're like, you know what? We're not interested in trading him. And then he
Angels with Ohtani.
Yeah.
God.
Angels with Otani.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
fumbled.
Yeah. We don't want to trade him. You couldn't offer us enough. Oh, he's just going to walk and we're going to get nothing? Oh, awesome. That seems like a better deal.
That's what the Tigers said a month ago. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna be fine. We don't want to trade Skubal, and then like 2 weeks later, like, you know what, Skubal, we could trade Skubal. But I want to get your guys' opinion on this. So, go ahead, Jerry.
Before we move on, I just got a notification that said that Casey Mize in his Padres debut just gave up 8 earned runs in 3 innings.
Jesus Christ.
So maybe it's good we didn't get him.
That's something. So I want to say this. The Mets made the most moves. They made the most trades. They added 9 new prospects to their top 30. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's nothing to sneeze at all. They added Jefferson Rojas that Nick said Nick actually predicted Jefferson Rojas would be the one he's okay trading.
Well, the only reason why is because he's not going to see the field anytime soon. The position he plays,
he plays short and third base.
And he can play second in a pinch. The Cubs are set at Bregman, Swanson, and Horner. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So he's going to, and not only that, you have the guy they just brought up, Rodriguez. What in the hell? I'm losing it.
All right. So as Nick struggles, Jefferson. Go ahead.
Oh no, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
So Jefferson Rojas is the new number 1 prospect for the Mets. The Mets traded off Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor to receive him. Both of those, Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor, are eligible to become free agents at the end of the year. Clay Holmes, it looks like he's going to be free agent, more than likely. But if
Pedro
not,
Ramirez. That's who I was thinking of. Pedro Ramirez. He also plays basically plays the infield other than first base. So again, Rojas, as great as he is and as great as he's going to be, I truly think so, was not going to see the field anytime soon.
No, I doubt it. The Mets get Sammy Staffora for Luke Weaver. He is a shortstop. Some sites have him at 9. MLB has him at 11. The Mets also get, I think it's Aiden Smith here. Yeah, they got Aiden Smith, Emilian Petrie, Gary Gilhill, Cole Mathis. Cole Mathis was from the first Cubs trade. He was from the first Cubs trade of David Peterson. And then they also traded for Don Seekerman and then Bruin Agbayani. So, and then I think there was like 2 more or 3 more prospects that weren't ranked. But the Mets get 9 new prospects into their top 30. I'm excited to see how they are. Drake and Nick, do you think the Mets were too aggressive or just right for how the season's going?
I thought they did a good job. I thought they were just right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they were sellers and they understood their role and they sold pretty well, I thought.
And I don't mean this is not a negative towards you. I'm not saying. Last year, again, the Braves were in a similar situation. The Braves decided to stand pat. We're not really going to make any huge moves. We're going to build off this team in the offseason and see where it goes. We think we have a good team. The Mets, if you think about it, they didn't give up any of their cornerstone pieces. They didn't give up any of their foundational pieces. They gave up guys that, should have been better pieces than they were. But guys obviously Clay Holmes, I think, when healthy, is a guy you want in your rotation. But you know what? He's coming off a broken leg, which just doesn't happen. You don't know how he's going to come back. We'll see. He starts on Sunday for the Cubs. But they gave up pieces that were losable. They weren't pieces that were propping their team up. And in return, like you said, you get 9, basically 1/3 of your top 30 prospects in one day is worth of trading.
And a top 100. Like, top 100 prospects don't grow on trees.
And look, it's prospects, so they could work out, they could not. For every Jefferson Rojas, there's a Bryce Ball. That who knows if it's going to work out or not. But with that, this is a team that's 20 games under 500. Okay, they know they're not fighting for a wild card spot. What they're fighting for is the future of the team. They build off of this in a different way than what the Braves did last year. There's different avenues to take to building your team. So I think, I honestly, truly think, and I would never give you or the Mets credit if it didn't deserve it. They are doing the smart thing for them. They didn't give up anything really. I mean, to me, out of all the guys they gave up, I think Clay Holmes is the one that's going to hurt the most. I don't even know how much that's going to hurt them. But I think of those guys, he's going to end up being the best, just because it was a freak injury that kind of slowed
Clay
him down.
Holmes, he hasn't pitched in the majors since May. He took a line drive back up the middle off his leg. That's it.
Broke
That's
his
all it was.
fibula.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. Like I said, it's a freak accident that happened, a freak injury that happened. But again, Peralta was not having a good season. People thought maybe it's a change of scenery. Well, so far that doesn't seem to be the case.
No, he didn't make it out of the fourth inning at Tampa.
So to me, I think the Mets. It was a strategic gamble on their part, and in the short term, it shows to have paid off. And now these prospects have to work out. But a farm system that again was kind of depleted over the years because of the trades they made has been now reestablished. So that's to me, I think it's a good day for the New York Mets. For the record, to pile on about the Casey Mize thing, 8 runs in 3 1/3.
Drake,
who was it against? I didn't see the team. Who did you catch? Who it was against? Arizona. Okay.
Yeah. It's Arizona is in third wild card spot. By no means are they a juggernaut. So
yeah.
Drake, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we all saw the report that the Braves were trying to bring for a legendary starting pitcher.
Oh my God!
Mm-hmm. I think I know which one. I think I know who you're referring to.
Sweet God in heaven.
He's like, no. He put up his no trade clause. How do you feel about that? That Jacob deGrom said, I don't want to go to Atlanta.
I think it's dumb on his part. I don't think he's serious about winning.
Or
him. I think it's dumb. I'm serious. It was his decision. We had a deal done. It was on him.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
For him, as a true Met, right here in his heart, said, I cannot take the bump for a team I hated for so long of my life.
But if he's a Met at heart, why is he playing for the Texas Rangers?
Because the Mets didn't offer him 5 years for $185 million fully guaranteed.
So then I would say F the Mets.
No, the Mets offered him 3 years. They offered him 3 for $120. The Rangers said, "Here's all." That's besides the point here, Nick. Okay, he had the better years of his career as a New York Met. Whenever he retires, in 5 years after that, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. 48 is going to get retired. He's going to go in the Mets Hall of Fame. End of story. Nick, what's your take on the Cubs getting Kevin Gausman?
Tell on. Let's pivot back to deGrom. Okay, hold on a second. Because, again, we had a lot of time to talk while we were waiting for you to figure out your computer situation earlier. We talked about deGrom. And, look, I am a loyalty guy. Okay, look, I know I don't care. My entire life I've wanted to play in the NFL. That would be my dream as a kid. As a young adult, I want to be in the NFL. If I got drafted by the Green Bay Packers, I'd retire on draft day. I'm just telling you that right now. Like, it would not happen. I would not put on the green and yellow. It just could not happen. I'm the one who posted our congratulations to Rick Sweet. And in the first line, it said, because he happened to win it, wearing a Brewskis jersey, that we at the Virtual Press Box do not support the Brewskis, because we don't. Nashville Sounds, we love. Brewskis, absolutely not. Because their colors are too close to the Milwaukee Brewers. It can't happen. That being said, Jacob deGrom is supposed to be a winner. You get offered a chance to get off of a loser in the Texas Rangers, a team that you are not loyal to. They're not your team. They didn't draft you. They didn't bring you up. That's not your foundational team. And the Atlanta Braves, number 2 in the National League, one of the top 3-4 teams in Major League Baseball.
7-game winning streak as well.
Right. Say, not only do we need a starting pitcher, we only want one starting pitcher. We're not going to go after the other 20-something guys that are up for grabs right now. We want Jacob deGrom. And he's like, no, thank you. Because I'm loyal to a team that spit in my face when I wanted more money.
Right.
So, that being said, I'm ecstatic about Clay Holmes and his coming to the north side of Chicago. Whether he's in the rotation or he's gonna start in the rotation.
Hey, I didn't mention Clay Holmes. I mentioned Kevin Gausman, the big get from Toronto.
I know, but I want to talk about Holmes because we're on this Mets kick here for this segment of the show. Look, Gausman, like coming from Toronto, he's had playoff experience. He's had World Series experience. He's exactly what the Cubs needed. He's the big move they needed to make. He's maybe not the sexy name that people outside of baseball would know, but people inside baseball understand that was a big get for the Cubs. They gave up something to get him. Huh? I
like Gausman a whole lot.
I do too. I think he's going to be a great fit, for a rotation that's been shaky at best. At some point, they had 7 starters. There's only 5 starters in a rotation, yet somehow they had 7 on the injured list. Because
unless you're the Dodgers and you get 6.
Well,
I also want to mention this. I kind of found this rule out. The Dodgers, they have Shohei Ohtani, and they list him as a starting pitcher, even though he's not going to be pitching right now. But because he's a two-way player, they get an extra pitcher on the team because of that. The most pitchers you could carry for some reason, your 26-man roster is 12 because they have Shohei Ohtani. The Shohei Ohtani rule, one of many that are absolute horse shit, is being able to hold another starting pitcher.
So, wait, just to go back to the team everybody's talking about, which is the Cubs. They go Gausman, obviously from Toronto. Clay Holmes, who really, honestly, he's going to start with the Cubs in the rotation. Like I said, he's starting on Sunday. But once they start getting all of these injured pitchers back, which is what they expect to happen, there's a chance that Holmes may be in the bullpen. Could you imagine the luxury of having, when you go into a playoff scenario, having Holmes in the bullpen?
Well, here's the thing with it. He pitched out of the bullpen for the Yankees. He was the Yankees' eighth man for the longest until he went to the Mets.
He was a closer for a while too, yeah.
Yeah, he was 8-man closer. It was always swapping back and forth because the Yankees did a rotation, a committee for the longest once Chapman. Well, once Chapman left.
If we can get Clay Holmes instead of give up 6 runs in an inning teal bar, then let's do that any chance we get.
If I'm not mistaken, I think toward the end of Chapman's Yankees tenure, I think he started struggling, and they were putting Holmes in the 9th inning every now and then. From what I remember.
Yes. So the Cubs also get Braxton Garrett. Okay. But the Ryan Zefferson, but I will say it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You give up, if you've heard me talk about anything with the Chicago Cubs over the last few seasons, it's impossible to find good, young, talented catchers in Major League Baseball. The Cubs kind of got lucky with Carson Kelly. He's turned out to be pretty good. Miguel Amaya has grown into a solid backup.
With Kelly was a journeyman.
Right. But he's found his niche with the Cubs. He's found a second wind of sorts. He's not a young, up-and-coming guy. In all of these trades, the Cubs had to give up, you give up Rojas to the Mets, which, again, you're kind of backlogged at infield, especially on the, third to second base. But you end up giving up Moises Ballesteros, who started the season as the Cubs DH and backup catcher. He is a hot young catching prospect. Also has a great bat as well. What kind of worked against him was he slumped at the wrong time. In the middle of the season in AAA, he fell off in the major leagues first. They moved him back to AAA. He fell back even further. So suddenly trade deadline comes up and you're like, hey, we got this guy that's kind of going the wrong direction. We need this. This is what they want. We give him up. I still think that one could be the one that comes back to bite them in the future.
I think so too. It's just they sent him to the Angels. You don't know what his career is going to be like with the Angels, but are the Angels going a different direction? They traded off Jose Siriano. They traded off Siriano to the Blue Jays, and Siriano has 2 years of control left after this. And then once the Blue Jays got Siriano, teams are calling the Blue Jays for Siriano.
Yeah.
But if I read it right, the Blue Jays gave up their second-ranked prospect for him. So, I don't know. And then for some reason, I think who traded for Logan O'Hoppe? Was that the Rangers that traded for him?
I think that's correct.
Logan O'Hoppe is literally the worst defensive catcher of the year. Like, Moises Ballesteros is going to get playing time in LA. Whether the team's going to be good or not.
Well, that's the one thing. Even when his offense slumped a little bit, his defense never wavered. Like he is a very strong defensive catcher. O'Hoppe is the Rangers.
Yeah, he got traded to the Rangers. Him and another pitcher. O'Hoppe was basically like a shoe-in. Oh. Here you go, take him.
I take that back. He's on the Round Rock Express, so is where he's at.
Okay, so he's in the minors. Okay,
yeah.
So whatever.
Rangers minor league team, Round Rock Express, but yes.
But Ballesteros, he will get playing time there. Other major trades we could look at really quick before we go to Gimme 5. Bo Naylor and Cody Hewer go from Cleveland to Milwaukee, and one of my favorite relief pitchers in baseball, Greg Yoho, go to the Guardians. They also get Blake Perkins. Camilo Doval gets sent for 2 18-year-old prospects. Doval, in his first appearance, blows a save and gets the loss against the Reds. The Yankees fans were excited when they got him, and then a year later, they traded him for almost nothing. Jameson Taillon got DFA'd by the Cubs, and the Blue Jays claimed him. Jays claimed him, and the Cubs are either getting cash considerations or a player to be named later.
What the heck are the Blue Jays doing?
It's addition by subtraction. It's an addition by subtraction, letting him walk. Oh my God! If you would have told me essentially you get Gausman for Taillon and some prospects, sure. The fact that it worked out that way, I know they didn't trade Taillon to the Blue Jays, but it worked out that way. I was happier about losing him than I was about gaining any of the guys they got in the trade.
You were like, pop the bottle of champagne now. Taillon's gone. Luis Garcia Jr. is a questionable move for the Yankees. They needed catching help. They traded for a first baseman when they didn't need a first baseman. Ben Rice is playing a really good first base.
If you're the Orioles, I have to ask, what was the deal the Yankees offered for Rutschman?
Did they offer a deal? Did they offer something?
And if they didn't, and the Baltimore was willing to trade in their division, and the Yankees didn't make an offer for him, like what in the hell?
Yeah. I figured the Yankees would have at least got someone like Hunter Goodman or someone checked in on someone like that.
Goodman was even out of the lineup. Like Goodman wasn't playing. He was out of the lineup. And Goodman, he's batting. Last I saw, he's batting under 200 in his home stadium.
But to go back a second to what Drake said, if you're Toronto, like this is a team that was. What'd you say in the pre-show, Drake? There's a team that was a foot away from
winning a World Series, like literally.
And now, what are they doing? Like, they are completely lost. Nico Hoerner out slugging Vlad Guerrero. Nico Hoerner, who is a defensive wizard, who is by no stretch of the imagination an offensive guy, my favorite player in the major leagues, is out slugging Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Vlad hasn't had a home run in Toronto in almost a fiscal calendar year.
I mean, like, again, it's the Brian Burns effect. This is the guy that you could have gotten the world for last year.
Mm-hmm. And they extended him. They decided to extend him.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to double down.
Joe Adell gets sent from the Angels to the Guardians. Taylor Ward gets sent from the Orioles to the Mariners for a handful of prospects. The Phillies trade for Brooks Raley, a trade I really didn't want to see. But Brooks Raley, in his first appearance in the Phillies today, gives up a 2-run home run. Other notables, Brenton Doyle goes to the White Sox for 2 prospects from the Rockies. Liam Hicks, that is overlooked, who is having his best year of his career. He's only a year into it. He's 27. Marlins trade Liam Hicks to upstate Florida or mid-state Florida, from the South Florida to mid-state Florida. Same thing in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has Nola this year. So Liam Hicks, who has been getting on base, is going to be a really, really big get for them. Spencer Arrighetti gets traded straight up for Dalton Varsho. Arrighetti was a top-ish prospect for the Astros, and then he ends up being like a 5th arm to like a longer lead guy type of thing. The spot starts, and Dalton Varsho really hasn't lived up to other notables. Let's see here. Heliot Ramos gets traded from the Giants to the Yankees. The Cubs get Braxton Garrett from the Marlins. Antonio Senzatella to the Brewers. They got him from the Rockies. Foster Griffin's had a really good year. He made it as an all-star under the Nationals. They get 4 prospects for him from the Guardians. That's a
30-year-old rookie.
Yeah, like what the hell? Kirby Yates to the Pirates from the Angels. Dustin May and JoJo Romero for 2 prospects from the Brewers. They traded in division there with the Cardinals, which makes no sense to me. And then we also have the Dodgers traded for another starting pitcher, Chris Bubic for Carlos Duran from the Royals, and Bubic is hurt right now. And then the final trade that went through is Andrew Moore for Hunter Strand. That is a swap from the Pirates to the Pirates.
Now, Ricky, you're missing one big move that came out earlier today that affects us deeply here at the Virtual Press Box.
Oh, yeah. Joey Wiemer got his walking papers from the Nationals.
Joey Wiemer is officially a free agent, not sent back down to the minors, not AAA, not AA, not high A, not fucking Mexican League baseball. He is a free agent completely.
Yes. 12 rebounds in 70 appearances. So that he's only played 30 games, but like, give him a shot. Come on, give him a shot.
Says the guy who got him ran out of a game. So
hey, we made a Mets. All right, he's on my Mets team, batting .300 right now. All right.
So, we've pretty much beat the trade deadline to death, which, I mean, for this week's show, that means there's only really time for one more thing.
Yes, there is, and that is everyone's favorite show, the award-winning segment. Nick, this is your line here. That's for you.
Drake knows what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would hope so.
You mean to do it? You mean to?
Yeah. What time is it?
Give me 5.
Self-high five.
All right.
Give me 5. So this week is a little different. For the first time in the history of Give Me 5, it's an illustrious history, but for the first time in the history of Give Me 5, instead of doing each of us doing 5 things, we collaborated pre-show to come up with the 5 biggest impact moves or non-moves, I guess you could say, in some instances, for the 2026 MLB trade deadline.
Yes. And there is an honorable mention.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a wrinkle that you didn't even tell the co-host about. Okay, interesting.
Well, if you read the text that you thumbsed up, there was an honorable mention. Anyways.
I didn't know that.
I just skim your text. I don't really read all of them.
Yeah, nobody likes to pay attention to a genius at work, okay? I will say that.
Oh, there we go. That's what it was. I gotcha. I realize it now. I see the text. So
Thank God. An hour and 14 into the recording. Thank you, Nick, for reading. So, Nick, kick us off, number 5.
Number 5 of the biggest moves, MLB trade deadline 2026, Luis Reyes to the Philadelphia Phillies. I know both of you guys are just Philly haters by default. I'm a Philly hater by choice. So, but Reyes to Philadelphia, I mean, you have to. We talked about it a little bit ago. The shakeup that it does to their fielding, to me, I don't know that it's worth it. You put Harper in the outfield. I don't.
Always
I don't
surprised,
know.
though, just getting that bat in general. He's led the league 3 times in his career in batting. You just can't get it.
Oh, no. In a vacuum, adding him to your team is a huge plus.
Especially in the Little League. National League, Little League Park, but Little League Park, National League is Philadelphia. Like, it's tiny there. Luis Reyes is going to rake.
Right. I'm just worried
And he
about.
kills us too. He's always been one of those guys who's killed us. So
I just worry about the dominoes that it could, the domino effect it has on the rest of the lineup, especially in the field. But I mean,
all
like
right.
I said, you can't argue with how big of a get it is for them on paper.
No, it's a big get for sure. Drake, number 4.
So I have the New York Yankees trading for Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nationals and Heliot Ramos from the Giants instead of a valuable reliever or a catcher piece.
But they did call up Lombard Jr., and they finally sent Volpe and Dominguez back down to AAA. Because, Jesus Christ, those guys, they were comparing Volpe in AAA to Derek Jeter. That's how much Yankee fans act out of pocket.
But I mean, like, this one is a weird one because it's not a full positive or a full negative. It's kind of a give or take. Like, yes, you add Garcia Jr. and Ramos, but you needed a reliever and you needed a good catcher.
Yes, their catching is abysmal. It's been bad. Like, the best catcher they've had in the last few years is on the Mets, Luis Torrens. They traded him to the Mets for $100,000.
Right. But I mean,
And
like, the Yankees made some good moves, but it just wasn't necessarily the moves they needed to make.
yeah, I mean, they gave up Camilo Duvall for almost nothing. They got 18 prospects. That's fine. Camilo Duvall has been awful for them. But you're telling me you couldn't call, like, I'm sure the Mets would have traded Luke Weaver back, or traded Luke Weaver to go back to the Yankees, or Wesker Bronzabon or something like that. Like, they couldn't have gotten any of those guys. That's just a bit of a mismanagement, because I guess in Yankees terms, you score more runs, you win, but you also have to have pitching to make sure you score more runs.
Catchers are hard to find, but relievers, I mean, there's relievers all over the place.
Especially with how quickly relievers could change on a dime.
Right.
And at that ballpark.
Especially that Little League park. Exactly. Nick, number 3. I'll give you the honors for number 3, as long as I get number 2.
Yeah, I'll take number 3. I mean, obviously, the Cubs, like I said at the very beginning, finally get aggressive with the trade deadline. As a Cubs fan, even, and I don't want to say this because knock on wood, even if it doesn't end up working out long, say they don't put the ring on at the end of the season, the fact that finally, though, the ownership group since 2016 is like, hey, we are trying for a World Series, not hoping for a World Series, which is what it's felt like since 2016. It's like, we put together this team and we kind of hope it works out, but we're not going to start making strategic moves at the deadline. This year is the first time it's like, okay, they feel like they're all in. They didn't give up a ton. Like I said, I'm not a fan of losing Ballesteros, but solidifying your rotation in the wake of just crazy injuries to your rotation is a huge get. Yes, you add some more outfield depth with Tyrone Taylor, but also adding a few relievers, which is exactly what you really needed, especially when you shorten your rotation and you have all these guys coming back from the injury list. Now you have all these options that you can fill out your relievers in the postseason is what you're planning on. Imagine having, let's say, just in a weird scenario, let's say you have Justin Steele and Clay Holmes coming out of your bullpen in the postseason. I mean, that's.
I think at this point, I would be like, Steele, take the extra time in your rehab.
Right. Well, yeah. Now this is especially. There's no rush to bring these guys back now. They can come back at the pace they need to come back, as opposed to trying to rush back and fill spots in the rotation. Right now, the rotation is solid. So it's all about continuing this till you get to the off season. But just as a Cubs,
I think what kickstart this for the Cubs was signing Bregman.
Yeah, I think so.
Whenever they stole Bregman from the Red Sox, because everyone was like, "Oh, Bregman's just going to go to the Red Sox," and out of nowhere, the Cubs like, "Hey, here's Bregman for 5 years."
And hey, I'll be the first one to say I was one of those thousands of Cubs fans that was like, what are we doing letting Kyle Tucker walk? We have got to get Tucker back. And thank God we did not.
Dodged a bullet there.
Thank God the Mets didn't get him. I will say that too. Thank God the Mets didn't get him. But we go on to number 2. Number 2 is that the New York Mets sell at the deadline, and they rebuff their minor league system with 9 top 30 prospects now. A few could be added by the end of the season. You just never know. But the Mets were kind of heading this direction. You kind of saw it once they had that horrific start to the season. I think at one point they had 7 wins and almost 20 losses. At that point, that's just a death sentence to your season. They fired Carlos Mendoza, all this, that, yada, yada. But the Mets, I'm optimistic for the Mets farm system. I am. I kind of hope Jonah Tong just gets better. He has a 5-something ERA in AAA this year, and he was minor league pitcher of the year last year. So,
hey, maybe Rojas is the PCA that you need to balance it out, and then
you know what? I kind of thought that. I was like, you know what? There's a few similarities here. I kind of thought that, but Drake, number 1.
So number 1 is the Braves and Brewers do next to nothing.
The Brewers, they got some starting pitching, Dustin May, but whatever Dustin May. But the Braves, they get some bench pieces and one reliever.
Yeah, Brent Suter was the one reliever.
So are they? Is that just them banking on Smith-Shawver, Schwellenbach, and Waldrep to come back healthy and just pitch fine?
See, that's what I don't trust, man. I don't agree with it, because I think if there was ever a time to add, it was now, But especially because the starting rotation is just so you got Chris Sale, but 2 through 5 is kind of a question mark. Especially Grant Holmes, Bryce Elder. Those are our 2 and 3 guys currently right now. So it just scares me come October, because it's just how thin the rotation is. Chris Sale can't pitch every game.
No, especially with how fragile Chris Sale has proven to be. Yeah. You just can't trust that.
We really needed a frontline starter now. Getting Lane Thomas, whatever, getting Brent Suter, whatever. Bullpen's pretty good, but the starting rotation, you just had to add another frontline starter. Because now Grant Holmes and Bryce Elder have had a couple of good starts. Elder had a good start tonight. Holmes had a good start last night. But come October, man, that's their style of pitching really doesn't fit.
Yeah, and I think as a Braves fan, and even as those lonesome people that are Brewers fans, you have to really bank on the fact that, hey, we're the 2 quietest teams in the National League that were contenders, but we're also the top 2 teams in the National League. So maybe we didn't have to make a lot of moves.
Yeah.
But to your point, when you get to October and the rotations get smaller, the bullpens get more important, those quality starts really matter. You would have liked the Braves to have gone out and got one of those starters that were floating around.
And again, I'm not just picking them out because they both have sub 4 ERAs, but I mean, there's Martin Perez as well. We just got Tyler Malley, so he has over a 5 ERA, but he's been pitching better since June. But again, Martin Perez, he's older, pitch to contact guy. That is scary in October. That is terrifying in October. You got some of the best hitters in the whole entire league in October. And some of those, this is not going to cut it.
Yeah, I mean, who's 4 and 5 in their rotation?
It would be really Martin Perez is probably be our 4.
Okay.
And 5 is just kind of up in the air. I mean, we got Tyler Miley. He'd probably be our 5 now.
But I'm sure you could bring back Carlos Carrasco from the KBO.
Gosh, I don't want to talk about that guy.
What? How many guys do they have out hurt from their rotation?
Oh, gosh. Strider, Schwellenbach, Waldrip.
Now, I'll just tell you right now,
AAA right now.
Obviously, I don't follow the Braves as closely as you do. Any chance these guys are coming back anytime soon?
Schwellenbach, we're hoping September.
Okay.
But Strider's probably done for the year, and Waldrop's probably done for the year.
Yeah, but, Strider. I think Strider is heading for an unfortunate, big shoulder surgery because he's having issues with his velocity to the point where earlier this year in spring training, when reporters were there and he was throwing just BP or just throwing a live session, they did not show the speed of his pitches.
Mm-hmm. But I think I read a report where Shawver he started against the Mets in that doubleheader, game 1. But I think I seen a report where he's going to make 2 starts in AAA, then we're going to call him back up. So
you need him. You need him. You need somebody.
Yeah,
sure,
I agree. Yeah.
You need somebody. It
just scares me with those young guys, who really don't have a lot of experience in October. It's really scary to think about because if Chris Sale has an off night, we're screwed. We are screwed.
Or if Chris is say if Chris Sale is hey guys, I'm feeling arm.
Yeah,
you're done.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, whenever he had the Padres in the playoffs, and Chris Sale was Chris Sale was hurt. You guys were just done. You were cooked. You couldn't do nothing.
The flip side of that, though, is every year there are young guys who don't have the experience who become that next guy because they break out.
Yeah.
So
I can think of 2 guys. I can think of 2 guys right now. Kyle Wright and Ian Anderson broke out in the postseason. So.
Right. So there's always that chance that, maybe that's one of those guys are in that Braves rotation right now.
Also, I mean, the rotation, Robert Suarez is another one. He's a really set-up guy. He's been hurt since June.
When are you guys getting back old Ronaldo Lopez?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Lopez. He was our starter. He's only going to be out for 10 more days. He's on the 15-day IL. Should be. They only said that it was going to take him 15 days, so he won't spend any more time longer.
Yeah,
so
he hasn't been too
impressive.
impressive.
About him, actually. Yeah. But yes, he's going to be back pretty soon. But he's another one of them guys, though, kind of like Grant Holmes, where, 5 innings, maybe 6 at most, not really, not really going to give you a whole lot of innings, converted reliever. So.
And, you hear that? That final whistle. That is today's episode. Final episode. Or final whistle. I'm sorry, not final episode. Jesus Christ.
Whoa, what the hell? Breaking news.
Yeah, okay, whatever. That's my bad. I misspoke. But great episode. Next week is up in the air. We're going to be talking about. It's either going to be me and Nick or another member of the Virtual Press Box.
Or maybe we finally get that long-awaited interview.
Oh.
Between myself and David Knox. We've tried to get him nailed down to do an in-person interview, and it just never worked out. So, who knows? Maybe that
got a response from him.
I have a direct line to him, so I can usually get a response. But I'm one of the few people he talks to. So, but hey, hopefully, if that happens, it's because of a good reason. You guys get to go experience Major League Baseball live and in person down in Atlanta. So,
oh yeah, sure. I mean,
you just enjoy his favorite place to hang out, the Battery,
the best city And best stadium.
Go get yourself some lemon pepper wings over at the strip club, and
Oh yeah, Magic City. But all
no,
right,
at the end of the
sign
show
off time.
means, wait, end of a show means it's sign off time.
Sign off time. Here's my sign off. The creation of the Battery in Atlanta has killed Braves baseball.
Wow.
How? Well, I mean, we won a World Series 5 years ago when the Battery was there. How?
Yeah, guess what? Look how much money the Battery made last year, and look how much money you're spending.
That's
Yeah, but
an
we're
aggressive
good.
sign off, but
We're
okay.
24 games over 500. We're second in the NL.
Okay, watch what your seconds do, and you're sitting on your hands at the deadline does for you in October when baseball gets real.
At least I'm in October.
Hey, guess what? Hey.
We'll be there.
Just because you're gonna be there doesn't mean shit. All right, you had to get a gimme win from us in a few years ago, 2 seasons ago, 2024. You had to get a gimme win from us on game 162 to even make the playoffs to get embarrassed by the Padres. Don't give me that.
Okay, so let's to wrap this show up civilly. Let's let Drake do his sign off for this week's episode.
Coming off that, go Braves.
Yeah.
Got the City Connect shirt on.
Yeah.
That will be the show.
Best
Actually,
jerseys.
all
Are we
those
really
people.
all three? I just not noticed. Are we all three of us rocking City Connects right now?
Pretty much, yeah. We are.
That's cool.
Mine is probably the most obscure because on the back it's Bill Buckner. So Cubs legend Bill Buckner. So, but So, and if you want to know sign off, obviously, being probably the most aggressive team at the trade deadline, you got to fly the W. That's what, come on.
Anyways, thank you everybody for listening to the Virtual Press Box and watching the Virtual Press Box. Drake, great having you on. Nick, as always,
Thank you.
fantastic talking with you.
Looking forward to doing the college football show with you, Drake. I think that'll be a lot of fun, and also looking to compare our top 25s week to week, and hopefully my blue and orange is better than your blue and orange, but we'll see.
I don't know.
Either way, they're going to be better than
I think Summerall is going to turn it around in Gainesville.
Either way, the blue and orange will be better than the black and red or scarlet and whatever the hell color Rutgers is. So.
Okay, everybody, great episode. Thank you for listening.
At least we ain't Georgia.
Very true.
At least we're not Georgia. We are where football began. I will college football, that is. Anyways, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Put up my box!
So long, everybody.